questions, and we move into the principal's reports. Roll call.
Because of the timing of the year, I think there's a lot of similarities in between buildings, so I'm fortunate to go first because we're going to find that we're doing a lot of similar things in all three buildings. First of which was the pilot of the Smarter Balance assessment, which took place in all three buildings. On behalf of Evergreen, I'd like to thank Shelley Wagner, Aaron Kopp, and Judy Ketterhagen for their flexibility in getting the students up and running on that program. Also, we've been involving at Evergreen teacher involvement in the understanding of Teachscape, which is going to be utilized for the educator effectiveness through meetings. Sarah Shuckey was tremendously helpful in the technology part of it. Brenda Pendleton and Shelley Wagner were helpful in the planning process of that, so I thank both of them. J.D. Pollock was here twice, a total of 3 days, and I had the opportunity to sit in, and she continues to provide the teachers with validation of what they are doing, as well as suggestions of where they can go with that information. The 4 principals all attended the Big 3, which is with preparation for the educator effectiveness rollout. We attended a conference in Pewaukee about a week or so ago, which was very beneficial. At Evergreen, we have practiced our intruder drill last week with law enforcement made available to walk through, and I would say by far it was our best intruder drill. The building looked completely and totally empty during that time. I was very cognizant to let the kids know that it was a practice, and they took it seriously, but at the same time they didn't have that fear component in what we were doing. Simultaneously, we also sent out a phone messages to parents just in the event that some of the kids, I didn't want the kids texting and they were locked in a closet or any of those types of things. So we timed it perfectly, I thought. And that credit goes to Mr. Buffer, as does the updated fire drills. And today we did a tornado drill. Tornado Awareness Week happens next week, and we'll be on spring break, so we took care of it today. Our 4th grade went to Madison on their annual trip to Madison. I appreciate the work that Kristen Stott, Tom Bodner put into it, as well as Kate Groucho. And finally, special thanks to the special ed teachers, Kelly McKenzie, Chris Egan, and Kim Keyline. The IEPs tend to get a little bit more compacted as far as scheduling this time of the year, and they've done an excellent job. Mrs. Markle and her staff coming over for those transitional IEPs has been helpful as well. So I appreciate that on that end as well.
Well, as Mr. Malthoff said, he was going to cover the majority, which he did, of what's happening in the elementary. But just again, kudos to the staff at Woodfield for the Smarter Balance. We have 3rd grade teachers, 6th grade teachers who participated. And it wasn't just a matter of participating in the test, but it was also the preparation work. There were videos that had to be watched by the students to prepare them, and then doing sample tests, again, to help prepare them. So there's a lot of behind-the-scenes work. And I think one other person we need to credit a lot for is Sarah Shuckey. I mean, she made our world and life so much easier, along with Kathy. You have to recognize both. They took a lot of great information, I mean, big information, and condensed it down to 1-page memos to all of us, so that was deeply appreciated. And again, to the teachers who took part in 3rd and 6th grade along with special education. We learned a lot, also what we need to do in the coming school year to be prepared and ready. Excuse me. I want to thank Monica Fisher and the library assistants for the work they did in Battle of the Books and Challenge of the Books. That program is so great and motivational to get students reading and participating. And I love going into the battles and watching the students be so excited with when they're asked questions and trying to get the answer, trying to beat the other team. And they have a Jeopardy board, so it's just fun to watch all of their excitement, but taking it through the joy of reading, which is great to see. Want to thank Megan Geary and Paul Bast in our building, who I think probably for the last 3 years, maybe tells me, heading the talent show in the building. And that's another great piece, another way to see students in a different light of all the talents that they have when you see them practicing and bringing out their love of music, or being a magician, or the start of where they might want to someday lead in their career in terms of music and dance or drama. And it's another great event to see. Math 24, Amy G, our tag teacher, gifted and talented. I'm watching the work that goes behind the scenes of Math 24, and that's another good piece to see the students during recess time or during a break in the action in the classroom when they're practicing their Math 24, and the complexity of thinking that goes into that event. And Amy puts a lot together with a lot of great parent volunteers who work with her. Jeff is kind enough to host it each year at Trailside, so we thank him for that. Excuse me. And then just a last, I think we did it last month, maybe last month as we were going into it, but I do want to thank again Joanne Nelson, Kristen Freimark, Emily Brown, and Barb Canales, along with the other music teachers of the district, for the solo ensemble, and again giving students another great opportunity to share their musical talents and to get that first performing and seeing themselves in front of a judge and here getting feedback, another great piece. And they put a lot of time and hours into it.
And good evening. Again, there will be some crossover here because we are doing some of the same activities. However, I want to highlight a couple things. Over at Trailside, I want to acknowledge our 2 kindergarten teachers, Ann Allen and Marla DeVille. We had our kindergarten screening, annual screening. Since the last board meeting, we spent a day and a half screening the incoming students that enroll in kindergarten, and they do an excellent job going through the protocol and assessing the kids with the dial instruments to see where they are and what needs possibly we could have coming into kindergarten for this school year. So they really worked hard this day and a half, 2 days screening kids. Also, as Shirley just commented, Amy G, the tag talented gifted teacher for the district. She spent a day last week. We did the Math 24 competition at Trailside, 4th in the morning, 5th in the afternoon, last Wednesday I think it was, and then this Wednesday we have the 6th grade. So she puts a lot of time above and beyond the contracted work day to get that competition set and up and running for all the elementary buildings. And finally, I also want to comment on the Smart Balance Assessment. As you know, we were piloting in our district, and remember, we were not testing the students, we were testing the test, and to see how it would work, the report back to the state. And at Trailside, we did 4th grade and 6th grade math and 5th grade English language arts. And Sarah Shefke or Sandy Finnegan and myself were present for all the tests. One of the 3 of us were present for every test. We were the test administrators. And I really want to give a shout out to the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade teachers because they really, even though the students weren't being assessed, they really took the test serious as the students, and we learned a lot from the test as far as what we need to do. As a matter of fact, we had a debriefing meeting this morning with Sarah, Sandy, myself, and the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade teachers to talk about what the students saw, what kind of problems they saw in math, what they saw in reading and language arts. And Sarah and I already scheduled 2 meetings after spring break, one for K-6 teachers for math, one for K-6 for language arts, just to give them more exposure to the Smart Balance Assessment all the way down to kindergarten, because the kindergarten teachers need to know when these kids get to 3rd grade what they're expected to do. So we need to, amp it up in some of the procedures, some of the things that we're doing. So we want the kindergarten teachers to know, and so we're hopefully going to have a nice vertical discussion between K-6 on what needs to be done in math and language arts to prepare the students for the Smart Balance Assessment based on what we saw for those 3 weeks. So obviously it's only a 3-week. We just saw a sample of it, but it gave us an insight to some of the things that we're teaching and maybe how how we need to teach differently, so the kids can be successful on the test. So it was it was a good pilot for the state, and it was a good pilot for our district as well. So I'm glad we participated. So. Questions?